Everyone, today I'll be showing you how to make a fresh Victoria sponge cake, also a fresh puree and a fresh whipped cream. This is what you will need for the ingredients: icing sugar, baking powder, plain flour, granulated sugar, fresh strawberries, unsalted butter, 2 eggs, strawberry essence and vanilla extract. So for the equipment you will need measuring spoons, 3 spatulas. I've got 2 metal spatulas and 1 rubber spatula. You'll also need a hand whisk, 2 bowls, a measuring jug, an electric whisk, a piping bag, but that's optional. You'll also need 2 cake tins and you will also need greaseproof baking paper. So now I am going to line 2 of the cake tins with the parchment paper. I've made it the size so it can be measured to 2 of them. So first thing I will be doing is folding up the parchment paper. Folded it up and make sure to put something underneath, as you will be using a knife so it won't damage your worktop. I've placed the cake tin on top, and what you'll need to do is cut around it. Make sure to cut the whole way round. So now I will be buttering up the tin. You can use olive oil if you want to, but I'm using butter. So now I will be placing the parchment paper in, and I will also be doing the other cake tin. And make sure to flatten it out so there's no bubbles. You will first need some butter. I have used half a stick of butter and I've cut it into little mini cubes using a spatula. And now I will add it into the bowl. So now I will be adding about 1 1/4 cups of sugar into the bowl. So now I will be stirring it until it turns smooth. So once it looks like this, grab your spatula and just smooth it down the sides like I am doing right now. And then you can add your 3 eggs into the mix. So now that I've added the 3 eggs into the mix, I will be stirring again. Make sure to stir until it goes smooth with no lumps. Once the batter looks like this, you can add a teaspoon of vanilla extract in and mix again. So now in a separate bowl I will be doing all the dry ingredients. So first I will be sifting in 1 1/3 cups of plain flour. So once you have sifted the flour, you will need to add about 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Then mix well until all the dry ingredients are properly mixed together. Then add about half of the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients. I am using my measuring spoon so it is easier to control when putting it in. And then you can start mixing. Make sure to stop every so often so you can scrape the sides, as there will be excess flour on the side which you will still need to incorporate with the mix. Before adding the remaining mix of the dry ingredients, you will have to add about half a cup of milk into the mix. And whisk once again. And then you can add the rest of the batter in. And mix once again until everything is properly combined now. Once you have done mixing, it should end up looking like this. So now I will be adding the cake mix in both of the pans, and make sure to do it evenly on both of them. I've added all the mix into the cake tins. Make sure to flatten it out using your spatula so it comes out all nice and even. Once you have finished flattening out your cake mix, you will now put it in your oven. And sorry I forgot to say earlier, but make sure to preheat your oven to 180 degrees. So now I will be making the strawberry puree, and I will put it on a medium heat. So first you will need to add the strawberries, about a tablespoon of sugar just to go around it, and then about a tablespoon of water. Then you will mix it, just sky it around, and let the strawberries cook for a few minutes. Keep on mixing. Should look like somewhat of a puree. Then once it looks like this, you can turn off the heat and then just set it aside to cool. Now I will be checking if the cakes are done by using a toothpick and poking a hole to see if any mixture comes on. Nope, it's all clean. Alright, let's set it aside to cool. Now I am going to let it cool for about 10 minutes or so. While the cakes are cooling, I will be making the whipped cream. So what you will need is some heavy cream. And I will be using about half it. And I will be also adding just like a teaspoon of sugar. There. So now let's whisk it together until it turns into whipped cream. Done is got a big pan and filled it with water and ice so it gets cool, and look, it's turning into whipping cream. Are you seeing this? Wow, look at it. It's cooled down, and now I am taking the parchment paper from the back. Wow, look at that. Once you have taken the parchment paper off, let it cool for about 3 minutes or so because it's still hot at the top. So what I will be doing now is adding a bit of whipped cream onto the cake board. So when I place the cake on top, it will stick on. So now that the cakes are cooled, what you should do is look at which one looks the nicest. So what do you think looks the nicest?
I think probably the one on the right.
Alright, so we will be placing this one at the bottom, as you see. So now I will be adding the whipped cream on the cake, like so, and just flatten it out and add more onto it to cover it all. So I am now adding all of the whipped cream, as you can see. So this is a perfect amount of whipped cream if you're making the size of the cake I am. So now all you have to do is just smoothen it out evenly, and you might think this is a lot of whipped cream, but the more the merrier. So I am now adding the rest of the strawberry jam as I have finished with the cream, and I will flatten that out as well. Just flatten it out evenly. I have done the Victoria sponge cake, and now I am going to be doing the decoration for the top. So what I am doing is, with a toothpick, I am placing the strawberries where I want them so they stay in place. So as you can see, what I have done with these 3 strawberries, I have put a toothpick and put them in place. So I'll be doing that with the other 3 strawberries that I have. So now I will be adding the icing sugar for the final touch. Now we are finished the cake, finally! This is the end result. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to cut up the cake now.